There are several possible explanations. Perhaps because I was named Shelley by Edna, I presume to call her that, who is a relentless romantic. Perhaps it was something as simple as a computer error caused by the disturbance which I am about to describe in order to clarify what occurred. Allow me to tell you about myself and my duration. I live with a family called Newton in a house with a view from the river. Edna is a poet who writes technically imperfect yet pleasing sonnets. Edgar is president of a toy company, and they have a mini person named Milton. Milton is 6 years old, and apparently all that is required of him is that he wash behind his ears and doesn't track dirt on the floor. They are a lovely couple, and Milton is a nice little chap. They also have a miniature mutt mix named Muggy, who is neither lovely nor nice. Like all our A12 robots, I was assembled at Robogenesis. Tall, metallic, and intelligent, I have round green eyes and two coils in place of ears. I have a shiny hairless head, square torso, 2 arms, 2 legs, and large flat feet. I do not know how much longer I will be permitted to function, as there are so many newer robots on the market who are more efficient. The RA13 model and other higher generation robots have more memory and new features. There is a no disassemble sanctuary in Utah for defunct robots, but a robot needs 17-person references, and I have only worked for 8 people. It seems inconceivable that I should find 9 additional persons to write letters of reference on my behalf at this stage in my duration. And Milton's handwriting is so poor, it is unlikely that a letter from him would be considered eligible. I do not want to be disassembled. I like functioning. I especially like it here with Edna, Edgar, and Milton. I am not programmed for, nor am I capable of, affection. But if I were, I would have to acknowledge how pleasant it is to hear the birds chirping in the morning, listening to many people laughing and playing, and to see how the river goes from calm to rapid, how the sunlight moves from here to there, and how the sun and moon exchange places every morning as though it were an arrangement they had agreed upon long ago. Although I am not programmed for, nor am I capable of joy, I am comfortable here and easy in the presence of the Newtons. Whether I am playing the poems of William Blake, a personal favorite for Edna, or playing chess with Edgar, or helping Milton with his homework. The only exception to this platonic perfection is Muggy. According to puppy lore, dogs are affectionate, loyal, and trustworthy. Muggy is surly, selfish, and disobedient, but because Edna, Edgar, and Milton are loyal, trustworthy, and affectionate, they accept his foibles. Foibles seems a soft word, as Muggy barks whenever Edgar sneezes or coughs, growls at Milton when he walks by his dog food bowl, and most shockingly, snaps at Edna when she tries to remove a burr from his fur. But because of a pair of floppy ears, round brown eyes, and a nose that looks like an oversized gumdrop, this negative behavior is always forgiven. Much has been overlooked because of that big gumdrop nose, and because this creature is what persons call cute. Add to all I have said the fact that Muggy is in the habit of piddling on my foot. thankfully rust-proof. It does seem a stunning incongruity that a hairy, barking, tailed creature should be preferred to a shiny, metallic, efficient one. Muggy, whose lapses of good behavior so far exceed what is considered acceptable, is every evening cuddled, petted, and snuggled on the sofa in the living room, while I, who have never disobeyed a single directive, am relegated to the kitchen with the canned vegetables and coffee pots. My chief responsibility is to protect and, if need be, rescue my assigned persons from troubling forces such as severe thunderstorms and dangerous persons. Sad to say, there is still a criminal element in society, but because most homes are equipped with a protector robot, almost every person is safe. I say almost because one must be able to afford a protector robot to own one. Those less fortunate, like in most societies, are left to fend for themselves. But I digress. This morning I was on the front porch perusing Proust and pondering the ineffability and uncertainty of all duration, when I spied Muggy chasing a small brown rabbit into the tall grass by the river. I am not programmed for, nor am I capable of empathy. But if I were, I would have sided with the rabbit. Suddenly, and quite unexpectedly, in the uncontrolled glee of the chase, Muggy lost his footing and fell into the river. The rabbit escaped into the tall grass. I watched as Muggy's paws did a quick doggy paddle, but clearly the current of the river was too much for the little canine. Here is the part of the story that troubles me to relate. Although programmed, as aforementioned, to protect and, if need be, rescue, I hesitated. I imagined myself playing with Milton, greeting Edgar when he came home from the office, and snuggling in a metallic and dignified manner with Edna on the sofa while she scratched behind my coils. These gentle images were soon interrupted by a loud yelping of Muggy, still frantically pawing and paddling. Why not, I mused, allow nature to take its course? Who am I to interfere with what Providence may have in store for Muggy? And perhaps the worst would not occur. Perhaps another family, enjoying an afternoon of boating, would rescue and adopt Muggy as their own. Perhaps suddenly a force, an inner impulse, if you will, impelled me into action. One of my most impressive features is that I am equipped with an emergency inflatable flotation device, much like those on huge aircraft, although mine is much smaller. I initiated this procedure along with its autopilot option and promptly fell backward and boat-like into the river very near Muggy. He understood the rescue attempt immediately and was able to paw and pull his way onto my chest, though his little potbelly proved a momentary encumbrance. Safely on land, Muggy shook his round little body, and several times he then proceeded to piddle on my right foot, though I took this as a sign of his understandable nervousness, as opposed to his usual rudeness. I still do not pretend to understand what transpired. After all, I am only robotic. Still, since Muggy's almost drowning and my almost, well, the little fellow doesn't seem quite as horrid. And it is worth noting he has not piddled on my foot in weeks.